lost Danya. I keep clicking these viruses because I keep download. Oh, hello? Are you here? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
here.
I thought I lost you. I don't know what happened. Okay.
So you want my video, right? So I guess I should I turn my video on in Discord?
Yes, please. But if it's hard for your stream, you don't have to.
No, it's not at all. I'll
Okay,
just,
awesome. Wait.
do what I did last time.
I don't know if my for some reason my camera isn't. Wait, you do see me on right now on Discord?
I do see you.
Oh, cool.
My camera is loading.
Lovely. Great.
All right. Now let me just do one more thing. I'm going to capture the
Take your
Discord.
time. I'm also
and then I will be all set.
Okay.
How's your stream gone so far?
We won one game of Bullet, and it was exciting, and I beat... Oh, God, my NVIDIA's having issues again. Ugh. Sorry.
Oh, your video card?
Yeah, I don't know what that is or does, but it never lets me record on OBS, which is so upsetting. I don't understand. I don't know how to stop this. Just need to... Okay. I'm actually not
Technology is a nightmare in general.
Unfortunately, we're not going to have Danya on the stream. Well, let me think. I need to think of my layout, how to turn it into... Yeah. And then I'll just maybe...
You're having a hard time capturing your Discord? The video on Discord?
Well, no, my issue is... I wanted to record my OBS so I could use it for YouTube video, but I can't record on my OBS because of something in the computer that I don't understand. Okay. It's okay. I'm just going to do a scuff. Chat wants Danya, so okay, chat. The YouTube will pay the cost, but it's worth it. Okay, I'm going to put Danya.
Absolutely.
Okay. Are you eating some soup?
I'm eating and sorry, by the way, I hate to eat on stream, but I've had a hectic day. I'm eating tabbouleh.
Tabbouleh. I just got excited because we were having an argument about bone broth, so I thought maybe you're drinking bone broth, which is not usual.
Bone broth.
It's good. It's good for the soul. It's healthy.
I've heard it's like good for I've like heard it thrown around, but I've never had it. I'm a big Lebanese food fan.
My dad loves tabbouleh. I can't eat it. There's too many herbs and spices, but
I'm obsessed with herbs and spices, so that's right up my alley.
Chat, are we happy with the Danya cam? Is this good? Is this an acceptable size? How is the layout? Yes? Okay. We'll take it. I feel like it's kind of small. That's okay. Danya smoking that herb?
Okay.
I don't think so. Okay, we're ready. Sorry. Shouldn't read every comment.
Maybe in a couple hours. No, just kidding. I'm trying to invite you. I'll invite you to an analysis board like we did last time.
Okay.
If that works.
Sounds good.
So let me see. How do I...
Wait, my mic went down. Oh. Okay, is this better? Sorry, I wanted to turn myself... You're going to have to turn me down on Discord. My mic just went up a little bit.
Oh, no worries at all. I'm trying to remember how to invite somebody to a chess.com analysis.
You know, I would help you there, but technical advice is not my expertise.
Maybe my stream can let me know.
Ask the chat.
I remember not remembering last time. How do I invite somebody to chat? I'm on chess.com/analysis. How do I add a member?
Danya, I have a question for you. Have you submitted your vote for Chess Streamer of the Year yet?
Not yet, but I am aware of it.
And how are you going about your decision?
How am I going about my decision?
Don't worry, there won't be... You could be honest. Honesty is the best policy. I would just like the truth.
No, I think I'm voting for you.
Why? Why is BotezLive? Yeah, why would you vote for BotezLive instead of like maybe Gotham Chess, perhaps?
Well, Gotham, I have a great relationship with all streamers, first of all.
Yep.
But I think with Gotham... You know, he's more of a YouTuber. I think Levy would be the first to say that.
That's a good argument.
Consistency to me is super important.
Smart. This is why he's a grandmaster, chat, because he's smart, and that's a good point.
I don't even remember who the others are. Is Hikaru on it?
I don't know. I'm just kidding. Yeah, he is.
In terms of Hikaru, okay, let's be real. Hikaru wins every tournament ever held anyway, so
that's true.
You know,
that's true.
He's used to winning.
He's just used to winning.
And you know. You guys have a great community and a super high quality stream. So
well, a high quality stream. I don't know about that one, but okay, chat. You heard it here. I'll donate the subs at the end of stream. Thanks, Danya. Thanks. We'll make sure to submit the payment. He just called you a loser. Look, I'm not accepting. Doesn't matter how he words it.
I'm not accepting.
Danya implies that both
I figured it out.
Winning. Okay.
I figured it out. To remind me, what is your account name again? Mobamba.
604. 604.
You should be receiving an invite.
Okay. I'm in.
Fantastic. Okay, so endgame lesson part 2.
Yes,
and
sir.
I'm pretty excited. We've got some interesting positions for you today as well. Now, last time we sort of focused primarily on handling passed pawns. I tortured you with some very tactical endgames. Today we're going to do kind of a mix. We're going to start with a really cool warm-up study that's kind of mind-blowing and one of my favorites. This should be famous, but isn't. Then we're going to focus today a little bit more on concepts and kind of developing conceptual thinking, so it won't be quite as tactically torturous, although there will still be a lot of things to calculate, and hopefully it'll be fun.
Yes, sir. Aye, Captain.
Fantastic.
It will be fun. Chess is fun.
Aye, aye.
Yes.
Aye, aye. All aboard. Okay,
Bingo.
So this is a study by the Sarachev brothers from the 1920s. It's white to play and draw, and white is going forward. So c8 equals queen is possible in this position.
Okay. Oh, I see. But the issue is that the bishop's going to come pin us. Oh, could you let me make arrows?
Yes. Let me enable.
If not, it's okay.
And guys on my stream, sorry, the volume should be now. Give
also,
full control.
mod. Oh, thanks. Yeah, we have the command Danya. Command Danya, if you want to see his point of view as well, chat. It's in there. Doo-doo-doo.
Okay. Can you make moves? Just test out
Yes.
a random move.
Yes.
Perfect.
Great.
I see the arrows. Awesome.
Awesome. Okay, so yeah, like Danya said, we can promote in a move, but he will just pin us, and then we will be just 2 behind this pawn, and then we can't stop him. He will push. He's unstoppable, just like us in the streamer awards. Just can't stop him.
Or if you want to troll,
to finish line.
Or if you want to troll, go b6.
That's true. We would troll a little bit. Yeah.
Good.
Okay, so white to move and draw.
fails.
I will think.
White
I
to
will
draw.
think, and you should enjoy your tabbouleh. I will think out loud.
No, as long as you need, no rush at all. Yeah, if you could think aloud, that
I've had an
obviously
epiphany.
helps me.
What about, okay, this just came to my head. The problem is that the bishop's coming here, so what if we just did this? Preventing it. He would probably defend it with his king, with this guy. So he would probably bring this guy here or here. Maybe it's better to bring the king towards my king, towards the opposition. So I would guess maybe e4 is better. And
Always.
now this is still a threat. So now we think. Let's see. So we still can't push. There's really no way to prevent that. There's nothing we can promote. We can never get it in a check. We can move the king. Oh, we're supposed to draw. We're not looking for a win, right? So
Looking for a drop.
well, this might just not be it. This is just the end of the line, and it probably just doesn't work.
Yeah, king e6, king e4 loses, and I can show this on the board.
Yeah.
Because at this point, black simply pre-moves bishop f5, and we're back to square 0. And
Yeah.
process of elimination is actually a super powerful tool in a lot of endgames because it forces you to consider moves that may appear totally illogical.
Yep.
And that's going to be one of the themes of today's lesson, is essentially forcing yourself to look at everything, even stuff that seems self-evidently bad. So anything of that nature here.
Okay, my second thought is, well, how else can you get the king to stop this pawn? We can't go this way, so if this is too slow, but the idea would be d6, c5, and then b6. It might be too slow, but if I did this and I'm not going to make the move. Actually, I'll make the moves. If I did this and he pushed, we would be able to stop him. So he's not going to push, so he has to make a king or a bishop move.
Black has to play bishop f5 to stop the c pawn.
Yeah. Stopping the pawn. So
Now
then
king c5.
continue the plan.
Black, for example, plays bishop c8.
Defending. Right.
And the problem that you're going to run into is that here I'm going to start moving my king back, and every time you slip to a7, I immediately start pushing b5.
Gotcha. So this does not work.
And if you chill on b6, then black will eventually, shoulder your king and win the c7 pawn.
We hate when we get shouldered.
Yeah.
It's like in boxing.
Incredibly annoying principle. You wouldn't know anything about that, would you?
Nope.
Boxing, yeah.
We
Never done that.
Would you ever do chess boxing, Danya?
Nah, I think I've been going out of my comfort zone more and more in the last couple of years, but I'm
just curious. What does that mean, going out of your comfort zone?
hey, I've been dancing on stream.
Oh, that's true.
You know, these toxic streamers beat me in a match, and then they made me dance. I mean,
well,
can
I
you
don't
believe
even
that?
know if it was you because the face didn't make it into the video. It was just a fraction of your body. So we don't really know if you did the punishment or not. But
for Daniel Norditsky to dance in front of a public is you have to understand how much
this year has been big for
that
you.
for
That's
me.
fair. Maybe we'll make you box next year.
Well, we'll see about that. So, process of elimination is taking place. What have we eliminated? Well, King E6, King D6 eliminated. C8 Queen eliminated. Now is the part where you have to consider the absurd moves. So what move appears like the most absurd possible move White could play?
Like King E8. Which is just
Even more absurd than that. The most counterproductive move.
It gets worse than King D8. Oh, King C8. Duh.
King C8 seems
front
like
of
the
our
worst move in
pawn.
the position.
Yep.
In front of your pawn, and you're forcing Black's pawn forward. What could be more illogical than that move, right?
Yes. Yes.
Now, Black pushes the pawn 2 squares, because if Black defends it with their bishop, then you play what move and draw immediately?
We play King B8 attacking the pawn, and if they defend, we could win it and draw.
Very good. Otherwise, Black loses because you promote. So Black plays in the initial position the move B5. Now, the beauty of the study is revealed. This is a pretty mind-blowing concept. So it appears self-evident that we're going to move our king. Black is going to stop our pawn, right? And that's it. We're not going to be in time to stop Black's pawn. But here, the ready concept, as I like to call it, comes in handy.
The ready. Good thing I've never played the ready. Let's see. So one idea I had was, well, is there any stalemate possibilities? If we get the king to A8, there isn't, so that's not it. I mean, this guy's just going to push. Obviously, as soon as we move the king, the bishop's coming here to prevent this.
Right.
Bang. Bang. Oh, no, it doesn't work. I was thinking, like, okay, anywhere here, he just plays this. What if we tried this? I was a bit looking at maybe king d7 coming somehow towards the bishop.
Track.
And then we could attack the pawn. So king here, bishop here, king here. He pushes.
Now, you need to do the same thing, but you need to somehow win a tempo with your king.
Right.
How do you win a tempo? Well, there's only one way to win a tempo. You need to attack the bishop.
No, I didn't have it. I had a moment, but it wasn't right. Attack the bishop. Right, so we
king
would
d7 is correct.
bring the king towards e5.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Play here.
Black checks you.
Okay. King d6. Then you push.
Black pushes.
Oh!
And they're the critical move. Exactly.
Wow! And
Bingo.
then we attack the bishop, and then, as Magnus recently learned, we can enter the square!
Exactly.
So cool. We're
Yeah,
ahead
I
of
also
Magnus.
feel like I never used the square.
Yes! Yes! Chat, we beat Magnus! I'm so excited.
Yeah, that was
a good one.
That was fun.
This is a nice one.
And was it on the stream with you that Magnus said he doesn't... Did he say he doesn't know the rule of this, or like he doesn't use the rule of the square?
The joke... See, as I learned with you, Danya, you really just don't consume any chess content. So Alex has been... We've been posting a lot of shorts on YouTube, like educational ones. And Alex has just been pumping out all the educational chess shorts, like the rule of the square. And Alex was playing him in a match. And he said, thanks, Alex. Without your video, I wouldn't have known it. While she in the time odds match. But we need to work on your education of chess memes. It would be good for you. Should do a Danya learns chess memes. I can teach you my culture, and you can teach me how to play chess.
That sounds like a deal. And then you'll teach me chess boxing.
Yes.
You know,
and that'll be next year after, because you don't want to get you too out of your comfort zone.
So just to tie up the study, king e5 attacks the bishop, and I'll show you why I call it the ready concept. The bishop has to move because b3, you take the bishop and you promote. And after the bishop moves, no matter where it moves, what are you going to do here?
We get in the square! The square!
And if I try to stop you, then what's the prettiest?
We push the pawn!
Excellent.
Nice.
Bang.
And now it's ours. Num, num, num.
It's ours for the taking. That is how white draws. But the craziest thing to me is the solution involves literally wasting a tempo and forcing the pawn forward. And the logical reason why is that when the pawn's on b7, you can't approach it with your king.
Yep, because you're too far. So you have to get the tempo attacking the bishop. Now I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I moved the mic. So like the way you solve these are like really abstract solutions that I don't feel like really any patterns. So I guess kind of like the similar theme in all of your puzzles. Like they're all just problem solving, like trying to be creative when it comes to solutions. But yeah, like how would you describe stuff from this thought process that you can use going forward into other puzzles?
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, I think I'm going to show you why I call it the ready concept.
Yeah.
And I think that the truth of the matter is that endgames actually do subject themselves to logic. And this is going to be the theme of the subsequent exercises that I give you. This was more of just sort of a cool warm-up study. But what I kind of want you to draw your attention to is the fact that, a lot of positions, they seem very overwhelming and it seems like there's no pattern. But you can often, by making, incisive observations, you can often guide yourself logically to a move that just when you see the move without any explanation may just seem like some sort of computer move or something illogical. But in fact, there's often like a hidden logic to even complicated ideas in the endgame. So here, for example, that pattern stems from this study. You've probably seen this before. So
I'm sure I have. Papa Botez taught me all the endgames.
And this is Rehard ready, and this is a super important endgame position. So it's white to play and draw. And you'll pick up on the similarity between this and the study we just did very quickly.
Oh.
So white to play and draw. Black is going this way.
Yep.
What to do?
Immediately, I'm thinking we want to bring the king somehow this way so that we're threatening both to get in the square and to defend our pawn.
Exactly. So we go diagonally. Go ahead.
Papa Botez actually didn't show me this one. This is the ready one you were saying, or no?
This is the ready study, yeah.
Why is it called ready? Because it's not an opening.
Because it was composed by Rehard Reddy, who of Reddy fame. And if h3.
And now I'm turning to come. No.
You have to be careful. Yeah.
Bing, bing. Oh. You're actually. Yeah, you play here and then here.
You need access to the d7 square to roll out the red carpet for the pawn.
Yep.
And if, of course, I go king b6, now the second part of this concept.
King here, because if you take, then I'm in the square, and if you push, then I defend like this.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
King here. If you take king f4, if h3, king d6, h2, and finish it off.
Nice. Oh, king first.
Careful.
No. Oh my god, I'm not even thinking. Okay, yeah, we push. We only bring the king if we need to.
Exactly. King b7 and king d7 with the draw.
King.
So
Gotcha.
you can spot the similarity where you basically multitask, right? You support your pawn, or you win a tempo essentially and use that tempo to stop your opponent's passed pawn.
Got it. Yep.
Okay. So if you're familiar
that's the concept.
with that's the concept that
makes sense.
Stems from that position. But you're right. Obviously, is this super common in actual tournament practice? Not really, but this was more of a tactical warm-up. Now,
Gotcha.
We're going to consider a couple of positions where I think we will be able to derive specific concepts and actionable tips based on those positions.
I bet even these, this type of concept when it comes to problem solving, I'm sure you would use it because sometimes you can be in a position that you think you're completely losing, like how far away the king is from the pawn. You just have to think a little more out of the box. So I'm sure there's stuff that applies.
More generally, I think if you solve a ton of endgame studies, you just sort of develop the abstract ability to find endgame tactics. And endgame tactics are one of the most difficult aspects of chess in general, because I think your brain just sort of automatically assumes that with very few pieces left on the board, there's no tactical potential. But that could not be further from the truth. That's actually a super important aspect of endgame mastery. There's so many tricks in the endgame.
Nice.
So let's start with a pretty simple position, but an instructive one nonetheless. This is from the Pro Chess League, from the last week of the Pro Chess League.
Are you playing in that?
I am. Unfortunately,
Are you winning?
my team has lost the first 2 weeks.
Sag, why is that?
So we are
Why do you
one
think
strike
you
away
lost?
from losing.
Just kidding. That's
So the first week we played Magnus's team. We played the Canada Chess
that's
Bar.
a good reason.
But we were so freaking close. We lost by 1 point.
Damn. Who
And
played
it
Magnus?
was right there. It's everybody plays everybody. So I played Magnus. A Wonder who's on our team, A Wonder Liang. He was just killing Magnus. It was completely winning. Had he won that game, we would have won the match. But
damn.
When you're winning against Magnus, you know how you feel. It's just your
Yeah,
hands
you don't
shake
believe
and
you
your brain
can
stops
do it.
working. So that was unfortunate. Then second week, we all played terribly and lost to Brazil.
To Brazil? I don't know why, but Brazil's only whenever I get chess.com challenges from Brazil, I get extra motivation because we've been farmed by them so many times.
Yeah, no, those
something about
the GMs
Brazil
are so strong.
chess.com players.
Yeah, no, for sure. It was same thing at the GM level. So we lost, and yeah, we're one strike away from getting knocked out, but we're still gonna fight.
Well, but if you win, you guys are still in.
If we win, we're still in. Yeah, it's 3 strikes and you're out of the regular season.
If you need some extra backup, I'd happily play for the team. If you guys need some, just help to cross the finish line.
I beat a couple of 2700s, on demand.
Yep.
So, with your newly acquired endgame knowledge, I don't think anybody stands a chance.
Yes.
So, this is a simple position again, but a good illustration of an incredibly important endgame principle that applies across almost all endgames. So it is black to play. And just looking at this kind of abstractly, white plays king e5, and here it's black to play. Who is playing for a win here, just intuitively?
White.
Clearly. What factors can you identify that guide your intuition in that regard?
Space, the king is more advanced. They're in black's half of the board. And their pawns on the left side of the board are more advanced. Well, I guess actually...
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in terms of the bishop placement and the targets, only black has a target. What is that target?
The f7 pawn.
The f7 pawn, exactly. So here's the principle, and this is essentially 2 principles packaged into one. When you're on the defending side of an endgame, any endgame, your kind of default approach should be to do nothing. The first question you should ask yourself is, what happens if I do nothing? And only if you've identified a specific winning plan for your opponent should you be looking for active counterplay. And even more importantly, in the endgame, you should always avoid unnecessary pawn advances. You should only push a pawn if there is a super compelling reason to do that. Pushing a pawn in order to create a threat is often a trap that causes more weaknesses to be created and hands your opponent kind of the winning plan. So let's apply that to this position. How would you go about defending this with black?
Okay, well, the first question, so if we did nothing, what would white's plan be? I'm trying to think if there's any way they could break through. Like, could they break through here? I don't think this is a threat. The king just can't enter any other way. So, and even if they brought the king over here to defend, then we would gain the space. So it feels like the only way white would pass is if I give them an entry point through one of these 3 squares for the king. And then, should we push any pawns? Wait, sorry, what was the question about pushing the pawns?
So what more open-ended, what would you play with black here?
Let's see. Well, I don't want to move my king. I'd move the bishop because I don't need to unnecessarily push my pawns. And I don't want to move my king, so just move the bishop.
Move the bishop, let's say to b7. And what's funny is that even if white offers a bishop trade, this is a bit of a trick question because I think it's counterintuitive. Can you take the bishop?
Last time I got asked a trick question, the trick was that there's no trick.
Exactly.
So I don't know. I don't know how to trust my coaches anymore. I have trust issues. If I take, you take. I mean, this would look bad, but I guess you would take the opposition actually. So I could just take.
Yeah, you take. King takes. King d7. I can try b4 to put you in Zugzwang, but this f7 pawn is actually on an incredible spot. How would you continue with black?
Take. No. That's not it. No.
There we go. There's that rule in action.
Yeah, we don't push the pawns if we don't need to.
We don't push the pawns if we don't need to. Take is correct. But now, a tough move to play, I think, just intuitively.
And we have to move the king. Oh! Wait. Okay, so either this way or this way. If I come here, then you're going to try to come catch this pawn. So then the question is, can I take this guy and promote before you could take these guys and promote? Bang. Bang. So I come here, you play here. I play here, you play here. Bang, bang, bang. Take. King comes here. King comes here. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, God, that does not work. And you promote in 3.
Not fast enough.
So that doesn't work. Fast enough. So then, if I come here, you come here, trying to take this guy. How could we possibly promote? If I push... I mean, this is way too slow. So that's not it. Bang, 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 bang.
Which line are you looking at? Sorry, king c7, king e5. Or are you looking at the other way?
I looked at both, and it looks like both don't work, but I could be wrong.
No, that you're right. The pawn races are all losing for black. But again, your default is passive defense, right? Because even when your king is at the most passive spot possible, sometimes your opponent just can't make progress. So if you look carefully after king c7, king e5.
Yeah.
What is the sort of, this is a very difficult move to play psychologically, but it draws on the spot.
Yeah. The king goes back.
The king goes back to d7. And after king f6.
Oh, this is cool. King f6, tying the pawn. We defend from here. And then if they push, then we just have opposition here. And if the king goes back, then we do Danya's favorite thing and we dance. Just follow the king.
Easy clap.
Yep.
Yeah, we follow the king. And if white tries to quote-unquote shoulder you, here there's nothing to shoulder because f7 is safely defended by black's king. So how would you proceed here with black?
Here?
Exactly. Let's say king g8.
And just follow the king.
We dance.
Yes.
We dance, and opposition, I think, is a pretty overrated concept in a lot of pawn endgames where you cannot assume that just because one side has the opposition, you're in Zugzwang. It's more complicated than that. Here, as you know, we've just reached the position that we basically started with. So black's king shadows white's king ad infinitum. Yeah,
these ones are very interesting because it's stuff that, like, based on your intuition, you would look at first and you'd be like, this is just completely losing. Because a move like this, like, it just looks like white's way more advanced. You're going to lose this. But yeah, it's actually interesting because, I mean, in these scenarios, the only way you could really make the right decision is just through calculation because there's no, like, intuition here, would you say?
Yeah, and I mean, the big intuitive principle, I think, is the concept of moving unnecessary. But what do you think black played here? And this is a decisive mistake. But it can be very tempting.
Let's see. Probably pushed one of these guys.
She played b5.
Yep, which doesn't look quite bad. And you're, like, attacking the bishop. I'm actually very curious how this is losing, but I'm guessing because now, like, the bishop's a weakness because it has to stay and defend the pawn.
So it's more that you've pushed the pawn on another light square. So if this pawn can be fixed on b5, then white can approach it with his king. But how do you gain a tempo here with white? Another very important principle. If you have a bishop endgame, a knight endgame, rook endgame, you have to assume that every time a pawn moves, the resulting pawn endgame might have a different evaluation. So just because the pawn endgame with the pawn here was a draw doesn't mean that it's still a draw if the pawn is pushed forward.
Oh.
Okay,
so we would try to trade the bishops.
Bingo.
In this case, the king can get these pawns.
Exactly. Bishop d5 is a super important move. This gains a tempo because black has to move the bishop back. And now a very strong positional move, fixing a pawn in a weak square.
b4? Wait, no.
Simply b4.
Yes, okay. Because it's on the light squares.
It's on a light square. Now, phase 2 is to approach the b5 pawn with your pieces. But because you're more active, that's much easier to do. So black has to stay put.
Yep, and then...
How would you reshuffle your bishop and your king? But be careful.
Yeah.
If you give up territory, you might allow black a fortress.
Exactly. If we try to come like this, we could give black this square.
Precisely.
Bing. This is cool. Bishop b7, and then then you bring the king this way so that you shoulder the king, and then you bring this bishop to a6 to attack.
That is one way to. Well, there's many ways you can bring the bishop back. You can put it on b7.
Anyway, yeah, on e4 works too.
Yeah, but bishop b7 I think is good enough. Basically king d7, king d5, c5, bishop c6 or a6 is going to end the game. There's nothing to calculate here. If black tries this, there's actually a funny line. The way you put the maybe bringing the bishop back is a little bit more accurate, I think.
The one way to lose this. Is it
no,
because...
I think you still win.
Oh, because the king comes here?
And then bishop a8, I think, might keep an advantage.
Yeah, so it's just more difficult. Well, no... oh, yeah, because then after bishop b8, you would trade the bishops. Okay. Yeah, it's just a little more complicated. So,
yeah, it's still winning, and king b6, you obviously go to the other way. But I think in the game, I don't even have the notation. I think bishop b4 was played, and basically just here, and what's the next move going to be?
Bishop d3.
Yeah, bishop d3 or bishop c6. You pick up the pawn, and the rest is very easy.
Yep, yeah.
The rest is very easy.
This is a very nice analysis.
Pushing unnecessary pawns in general, something that you have to avoid.
Yep.
So let's consider another bishop endgame, also from the PCL. We're at
2700. Very good blitz tips for endgames, because I always panic and push pawns.
Yeah. And of course, there's no way to sugarcoat it. Like, by the time you get to an endgame, you're often in a time scramble. There's no way to avoid, like, a lot of mistakes in the endgame. But developing your intuition does help you, often avoid stepping on certain landmines, and sometimes helps you figure out wins very quickly. So let's consider the following position. All right. Let me know when you see it. It is another same colored bishop endgame.
All right. These are good.
Both sides had a couple of seconds at this point.
Oh, wow.
And obviously, it seems self-evident that white is playing for a win, right? Because white is up one. But what obstacles could you identify in terms of trying to break down Black's fortress?
Well, their pawns are all on black, and white's pawns are on white. So we actually, even though we have space, our pawns are much easier to attack.
Right.
Yeah.
So how does that actually hurt white? It restricts the mobility of what piece?
The bishop.
Right. If, let's say, white plays some nonchalant move like bishop f3, black will immediately respond with?
Bishop b3, taking the pawn.
Bishop b3, and actually white, that's the best way to lose, right? Because if you lose a4, you probably lose the game.
Yep. Yes,
now, white could try to break down the king side with what move? This move is useless, but you could try it.
Like g6?
Well, h6. And we're talking from white's perspective.
Oh, sorry. White wants to break down their king side. Yes, h6.
But this doesn't help at all. And what you should remember about bishop endgames in particular is that if you put your king on the opposite color of your opponent's bishop, that is often an insta-fortress. Because the king can never be moved from e7. So white literally has no way to make progress here. You literally just shuffle your bishop back and forth, and there's no way through.
Wait, you said the king on the opposite side of the bishop? What did you mean by that?
Yeah, like a king on a dark square if your opponent is a light square bishop.
Oh, you're saying the king. Oh, got it. Sorry. Okay. Had a brain fart.
And that allows you, same with opposite colored bishop endgames, that allows you to build up an immediate blockade.
Yeah, this is an easy fortress. The pawns are in black. The king won't be able to enter to attack these pawns, and this king's not moving.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Exactly. So white concluded that there is no way forward and basically repeated moves with king f4, king g5. It turns out that there is a really, really cool winning sequence here that's basically pure tactics.
Okay.
And I think you're able to find this win, again, if you force yourself to consider a move that seems to have an obvious refutation. But if you look at that resulting position for a couple of seconds, I think you very quickly spot the follow-up continuation. So what move could I be talking about here?
I mean, there's not many options. You either bring your king back. Well, I was thinking, like, is it worth calculating if there's any tricks over here? Also with this bishop g4, but I know we already disregarded this move.
We disregarded which move?
The bishop g4. But I was debating calculating stuff just because it looks like maybe if there's a way we could kick the king and try to push one of these pawns, but no.
Okay, but that was part of the trick, right? We disregarded it from a general standpoint, but we still need to look concretely at the move bishop g4 because that offers a bishop trade, which makes sense from a logical perspective.
Yep.
The pawn endgame is obviously lost.
Yep.
So how is black going to respond?
Here.
And this is the position, if you just kind of stare at it for a couple of seconds, you'll find something.
Oh, wait. I think. Bishop here. Because you take, I push, king comes here, then the king comes here. Oh, actually, I don't think this works, because then you would attack our pawn. I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah, you can eliminate the middleman, though. Like, bishop d7 actually doesn't...
Like, oh, we don't need that move. Right. You just push.
Yeah, you push immediately. Why? Because if black takes...
Oh, wow. This is very nice. Bishop takes, and now we take this pawn and promote.
Exactly. And that's just the beginning. That's step one. So in the game, White didn't find this, but...
sorry.
Perhaps White even saw bishop g4 and e6. The thing is, black is not going to cooperate.
Right.
Nor is black going to leave this g7 pawn unattended. Black is going to step back to f8.
Stay on the dark squares.
And the problem is that if you make the obvious move, to me, the obvious move
King
is...
g6?
Yeah. Problem here is that black is going to take. And it does look winning for White at first. You can try what typical
push.
Motif. Yes. Takes. But where is black going to put his bishop? And why is that going to be a problem?
Here.
Yes. And then what is black going to do?
Bang. Push. Well, we would have to... Oh, they have a passer.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And we have no way to dislodge the bishop from this diagonal.
Yep. So you sack the bishop and you promote. Well, I mean, this is really just also... Yeah, well, I guess there's no way that this light squared bishop could have stopped this pawn, so that also makes a difference.
And even if it could, you can imagine that what black's king is going to basically win this b pawn, because you cannot use your bishop to stop the pawn and defend b5 at the same time. So it's at least a draw.
Got it.
It's at least a draw.
Got it.
But same principle applies. White has a move here that wins on the spot. And if you look at the position carefully and consider the other candidate moves, it's a tactic. And the tactical concept is common in the middle game, but not as common in the end game.
Is it h6?
It is h6.
Yay! This is a nice one. Yeah,
and if G takes h6?
Then we have king
deflection.
Here. Oh.
Simple deflection.
Yeah, wait. Yeah, is this not it?
Okay. That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Wait, oh. What is the definition of deflection?
So it could mean several similar things.
Oh, right. We're deflecting the pawn from the f6 square.
Right. Divert a piece from its control over a certain square.
Gotcha. Nice. And yeah, now that our light squared bishop could attack this square, it's easy. And if they sack, we would just take with the king and win this endgame and come take these
Bingo.
pawns.
And just to finish it off, bishop takes a4. What's the best move order here?
The most forcing move?
Yeah. And it's the only winning move.
Actually. Here and check. Because if we started with the bishop, then you take the pawn, and now...
Yeah. Now it's very, very easy. Exactly.
Nice.
So very nice. So we start with bishop g4.
Very nice.
Very nice. We consider a position that seems to be pretty much absurd, but once you look at it a little bit more carefully, you can see quickly that you're able to make progress with the move e6.
Yep.
Okay, so let's apply that to a really fun endgame, a pawn endgame.
See, chat, endgames can be fun.
Oh, can be. They are fun at all times. And we're going to see the exact same thing in action, where at first you make a couple of obvious moves and apply an important pawn endgame principle. Then you reach a critical position, and it's all about forcing yourself to calculate the move that seems to self-evidently not work. There is the starting position.
Okay.
Sevian against Lazovic. And it's White to play in this position. Now,
sorry. This is very funny because in these positions, it's fun to play what looks like the worst position in the board. But when I do it in my blitz games, it just ends into a very tilting downward spiral. So we'll see how this translates into the blitz. Hopefully, it's okay. I'll take away the other lessons from this. But it's very rare.
And I think you'll crack the secrets of this position pretty quickly. So it's White to play.
Okay.
And by the way, I randomly came up with an interesting idea. If we do part 3, what I might actually do is go through your Blitz games
Oh, God.
from the last couple months and sort them, and I can do that on ChessBase. Basically, identify all the end games, and we can go over some like instructive mistakes that you made.
You're gonna have a lot to unload there. I don't know if you want to sign up for. I think there was one time I even sent. Oh God, my Alexa. Sorry. She's going off. There was one time that I sent Dina just one Blitz games, and she just one of mine. She said she had nightmares that night. But I would love to do that because I have so many, like, I play so well, and then I just one move, one inaccuracy, and I throw away everything. So that would be a really cool YouTube video too. I would love that.
Yeah, and I think there's nothing like more instructive from like an emotional standpoint than your own mistakes. It's just you learn. It hits different, honestly, when you learn from your own endgame mistakes. So I'll do that for next time.
That'd be awesome.
So it's white to play here.
Okay.
And my sort of tip when you get into pawn endgames is to start with a kind of bird's eye view in the sense that you kind of need to forecast what you think is going to happen. That helps you avoid getting overwhelmed because it seems like, oh, there's a ton of options and I can move my king and I can move my pawns. But it's pretty easy to sort through the wrong moves here if you kind of know where this is going. So where do you anticipate this endgame going? How do you anticipate it kind of ending?
How do you anticipate the endgame ending? What does that mean?
Like, what does white want to achieve, and what is white likely to achieve, and how is black likely to respond to that?
Okay. Well, I would fix this pawn so that your king cannot move, and then just hope that I block this, and and we take this guy, and that's
Black's only try is going to be to go after what pawn?
This H pawn.
Exactly. So you're likely going to get a pawn race between an E pawn and an H pawn, and you've already identified all the correct moves. How would you start?
E3.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Black is in Zugzwang, only one pawn waiting move remaining.
And now H4 is mainly moved.
And the side that is the last to exhaust its waiting move is the winning side, because the opposing side is in Zugzwang.
Yep. So now black has to give up the pawn.
Yep. You take the pawn.
Oh, I see. Because I was going to be...
Now the fun begins.
Okay. Because when I looked at this, I was like, well, this is losing for white, because white has to conquer 5 squares, black has to do 4, but you keep the king trapped.
Exactly. But the critical moment occurs after king h3. This is the beautiful... Well, not specifically. Sorry, it's on the next move that the cool moment occurs.
Wow. I can't believe you.
So now you basically have only one try to win the game for white.
Well, of course pushing, but I would consider king f3 first.
Yeah, but if king f3, then we dance.
Yeah, okay, you just go backwards, right?
And you have to repeat moves. You don't ruin anything.
Oh, yeah, so nothing happens, yeah.
Nothing happens.
Okay.
So we try e4, right?
Yep.
Now, if black plays king g2 and clears the path for the pawn, then it's very easy. White plays what?
We push, you push, and we're 3 squares.
Careful. Before you push, there's an easier move.
Nope. We win the pawn.
Exactly.
Right.
Remember with pawn races that it's not, you don't have to sort of shut your eyes and push the pawn automatically. You can use your king in many cases to make it as difficult as possible for your opponent to push pawns. That allows you to win tempi, which in turn enables you to win the pawn. Or sometimes you can simply win the pawn with your king.
Okay.
So black has to start with the move h4, and this is the critical moment. Sevian went wrong here.
Bing, bing. Well, I mean, there's only 2 moves you consider, this and this.
This and this, exactly.
So...
And again, my intuition here is misleading. Like, I think if you apply your intuition, you come up with the wrong move.
My intuition would say this first.
Okay.
King down. And now if I do this, you go back. I could push. Then your king would move out of the way. Well, actually, no. You would push the pawn, because king move the way we wins the pawn. And then I would do this again to force you down. Oh, and now the king... Wait. Oof, wait a second. Then I push, and then you push, and now you're stalemating yourself, so then I'd have to... move the king, then you move the king out of the way. Then I do this, and I bet there's like a sneaky checkmate. Unless you promote to a knight. You probably promote to a queen. Wait, no.
But black promotes first.
Shoot. I fucked
Your
up.
calculation was perfect. No. All the errors are correct, but black promotes first in that line.
Yeah.
And black makes a draw.
Yeah, that's not good. We don't want that.
We don't want to draw.
No.
So let's make the moves on the board so that maybe everybody in the chat can follow what you just calculated.
Yes. And we are only doing this because we care about the chat, and that's because I want to run for the chess streamer of the year. And chat today is about you guys, so this is for you guys.
Right.
Otherwise, we wouldn't do this. So command vote, please. Okay, all right. So King.
Yeah, same with my stream. I'll link the streamer awards.
And then don't worry, Danya. When you're in the nominations, I will tilt the vote for you. I just have to win this year. I won't care about the next. Just this year. This year. Next year is all about Danya. Okay, so king down. Then we follow with the king. If you do, wait, frick. No, I fucked up. Okay, I got too excited.
No, that also works. So king h2. Now let's say we play e5.
Yep.
Oh my god. I just got 100 subs.
Whoa! That's awesome.
Oh my god. Haunted Waffles. Is that person also on your stream?
No, I think they're a Danya fan.
Holy smokes. Sorry, Andrea.
No, please take the moment. Thanks, Hudson Waffles, for gifting to Danya. He is the best chess teacher ever.
I have a lot to learn on that front. I really appreciate it. That's freaking amazing. Damn, girl.
Waffles for dinner.
That's definitely waffles for dinner. Maybe Waffle House. Well, thank you. That is incredibly sweet.
Poor Hammer. Oh, you're right. I couldn't forget. No, it's okay. You should acknowledge him. That was very nice.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. So, what does black do here?
We push. We push.
And again, why not king g1 first?
Because it allows you to smother the pawn.
Exactly. Very important to remember this in pawn races.
Crap.
If white pushes, then what happens?
If white pushes, then king here, and this is what we just looked at. So king here.
Yes.
And now, if you do this, you just push, so it doesn't really matter. So then I push, you push, I push, and you push with check. Promote with check.
And black draws. The side, it's not just about the side that promotes first. I had a video on pawn races where I talked about like the checking zone. When you anticipate a pawn race, the first thing you have to identify is if your king is in the checking zone of the pawn. What does that mean? That means you look at the promotion square of the pawn and you trace the diagonal that it promotes on. And you make sure that your king isn't on that diagonal, which here it is.
Is there a cool word for this pawn strat? You need there's the square. This one needs a cool name too.
I call it the checking zone of the pawn.
We'll take it.
Which is, I'm not really known for my
We got to work on the wording, but we'll sell it. We'll work on it.
Yeah, I think it's good. It's a good standard. Now, if white tries to entrap black's king, here you correctly identified why this is a draw.
All right. The king just goes here.
Bingo.
And now he's trapped. So we push, and you think that you're going to get it. But now, unfortunately, you're just one square too late. And he's actually two squares.
Even if it was
two
white
squares
to move,
too late. Yeah.
Although it would be winning if it was white to move. And you'll see why after we go down the correct line. So as intuitive as king f3 is, how do you rule it out intuitively? Well, it's because, first of all, you have to be aware of the stalemate idea. But also, king f3 steps into the checking zone of black's h-pawn, so you actually end up losing a tempo by making that move. Let's consider the other candidate move.
I mean, of course, there's pushing, but
let's consider it.
Okay, yeah, we'll consider it. This doesn't do anything. Yeah, okay, pushing is the only move. I was looking at king here, but you just push and you just waste your turn.
It merely helps black push the pawn.
Yeah,
right?
so this is the only move, pushing. Okay, so let's say they do the same thing, because if they bring the king, we do the same thing, so they have to push. So we don't want to try this idea, so let's say we push.
Yeah.
Here, I'll try to force myself to calculate, and then I'll play it out for the chat.
Okay.
King comes here, and let's say we just go for the push, then you push, then I push, then you push, then I promote. And now we're not in the checking zone. You promote.
It's white to move in that position.
Yep. Yes.
Which gives you some promise.
So you could check here. You could check here. I like. Bang, bang. Let's see. Bang, 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 bang. I mean, it looks drawish to me. I'm thinking if we check the king here, the king has to defend the queen, so it'd have to go to g1.
Okay.
And then check. King comes here. No, this isn't going to lead to anything. Check. The king would escape here.
Let's make the moves on the board, not because you can't visualize, but just because there's an important concept that is just, I think, worth talking over generally.
Sounds good.
And it'll help you seeing the position. So promote.
Bang,
you can make
bang, 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 and queen. Oh.
So.
Sorry. Oh, sorry. You wanted to go back.
Yeah, no. Promote is correct. So there's a concept here, a target position where you push black's king to the bottom row, and then you make a quiet move with your own king, and the theme is domination. You dominate the king and the queen with your own king and queen, and the reason that can be hard to figure out is because intuitively you assume that if it's black's move, they will always have some sort of a check, but that's not always the case. So how do you push black's king to the first row in the most effective way possible?
Push his king.
Force king g1 is the goal.
Yeah, well, one idea I had was like, well, if we did this and this and then brought the queen down here to trap the king, but the issue is that the queen would escape and check us.
So queen e4 also allows king h2. What's the other tempting check here that you could contemplate?
This check, which doesn't allow king
move.
h2. Oh, it does the job right away. That was silly.
And what if king h3?
Then check, play here, and we mate on g3.
Bingo. So king g1 is forced, and now the crux of the whole position.
Oh, I was trying to look for something like this. Good. I see. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know why I was looking at this concept, but for some reason in my brain I could only get there in 2 moves, but you could just do it right away.
Yeah. So king g3.
Nice.
And black's queen is fully dominated. You're threatening a million mates. And if I play check,
just be careful not to stalemate him.
Yeah. King takes f3, and
maybe XQC would take the queen, but we on this chat, in the best chess streamer chat, would take with the king.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So that is the kind of target concept here, where even though black is forcibly promoting, it doesn't matter because you're using this idea of total domination.
Nice. Good stuff.
And this is very, very applicable, I think, to a lot of different types of endgames, because what it allows you to do is figure out a exception to a certain rule. Now, you're familiar, I assume, that a corner pawn on the second rank usually draws against a queen.
Yes, because
of the stalemate ideas.
Yes.
Now, if the white king in this position were to be on a8, then that would be a draw. That concept makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but because the king's close enough to...
If it's sufficiently close, you can use the concept we just talked about to force victory. How would you go about it?
Like in this position right now?
Yes, white to play. And this position has occurred a million times. A specific position. I promote.
And now we just do what we just did.
Transpose. King e2 check. King g1.
And here.
And king g3 winning the game.
Nice.
Exactly. But in the pawn game, we considered, you're not supposed to try to block black's king with your king, because if you look at it concretely, it actually turns out to be counterproductive because you step into the checking zone of black's pawn.
Wait, you're not supposed to block... Oh, you mean from the... Oh, right. You're saying
the position that we just looked at.
Yeah.
King f3 was wrong in that position.
Because it gets... Yeah, so if you chase the king down the file, this is a checking zone. Got it. It's like the tow-away zone, Have you ever been towed, Danya?
I have been towed once, and the story is funny. I was doing a 24-hour stream.
Oh, no.
This is back in Stanford.
Of course, the only way he would get towed is, doing something wholesome.
No, but here's the funny thing. I was doing a 24-hour stream. It was my first one. And I took a 5-minute break to get some Starbucks for obvious reasons. So I went to get Starbucks, and because
I want to take 5 minutes to get a coffee?
Exactly, right? So I'm like, the minutes are ticking. So on my way back, I parked carelessly. I didn't notice where I parked. The next morning, it was Saturday morning, I went out, and I don't see my car. And you know that feeling, that sinking.
Oh, I know it all too well this week. Yes. You're running. You're like a father. You're missing your son. You're looking up and down the street thinking, where are you?
I don't know what the procedure is where you live, but in the Bay Area, you have to go to the police station.
Yep.
You have to pay like $150. Then you have to Uber to the tow yard. They sent me to the wrong tow yard because there were 2 locations. And it's like, in the Bay Area, I mean, everything, it's $600 or something like that. I mean, at that, the value of my car was less than $600. I had a 97 Lexus with 250,000 miles.
This is very similar to my Honda.
So what happened in your case? Sorry to make you
Well,
relive.
no, it was the same story. The cops, the LAPD stored my Honda. I had to Uber to the towing zone. I don't know why they towed it. Well, I kind of know why. Well, I don't really know why, honestly. It remains a mystery. And it was just a very upsetting feeling. Went outside looking for my Honda, and it was gone.
California, man.
I know. Well, now you've escaped it.
Yeah, no parking problems here. That's the one redeeming factor. Don't have to leave 30 minutes
So I'll just remember, this will be the tow-away zone. Yeah. We do not enter that zone.
I like it.
That's what I'm calling it.
So how do you feel? You're up for another position? I know this
one
is
more.
like
Uno mas.
super conceptually hard, so...
We can handle it.
Okay. So we're going to take a look at a position to sort of cap off one of the themes of all of these positions, which is that when you kind of try to think randomly or you try to trust your gut instinct, often it gets very overwhelming because you're like, you don't know what's going on. It's like this position just seems to be super technical. But a lot of these technical looking positions can actually be deciphered if you think about them very methodically and you start by making observations. You figure out your opponent's defensive ideas, and sometimes that leads you directly to the correct move. I love this position. It's not a famous game at all. It's like 2200 versus 2100. It's white to play, and white has only one winning move. Everything else is a draw.
Wow.
And the most obvious move, the move that your hand is literally reaching to play with white, at least in my case, leads to a draw. So let's start with that move. What is that incredibly obvious move?
My hand! I can't help it. It's King A4.
King A4. So you want to take the pawn, and that's it. But it's not it, because black can easily win the C7 pawn. How? And then stop the G pawn with his king.
Bang. No, not like that. No, just kidding. Gotcha.
The knight will get towed.
True. We've got some checks, but that's not it. I mean, I would have... bang, and then bang, because it restricts the king from defending.
Exactly. Alternatively, knight b6, check and knight d5, same destination square.
Yes.
What can white try? Well, white can try king b5. But now you need to be very careful, because if white instead brings the bishop down, take the pawn, take the knight, take is black in the box.
Bing, bing, bing. Pawn, white pushes. I thought it was a trick, but we are in the box. Wait.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
B4, king b6, g5, king e6. And you're by 2 temp, you're in the box.
Yes.
But if white tries the tricky move king b5, here a knowledge of theoretical endgames really helps. If black tries this move instead, how should black draw this?
Bang, 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 bang. I see. So what would happen is, even though we're in the box, the king...
Yes, is in opposition.
Yes. So let's see. What would we... I think... black would win this pawn and put their king on white.
Excellent. Knight e3. I try the tricky king b6.
Yep, and we don't want to let you get this b7 square, so we come to c8. Yep.
And that's it. You take the pawn.
And you can't stop this.
No, and then you return and give your knight away for the last remaining pawn.
Yes.
Then you give your pawn for the last remaining.
We take this king and then we sack.
This is how the game ended, actually. White played king a4. This 2200 played king a4. Can't blame him, and black drew the game straightforward.
Yep.
So
those silly 2200s.
What conclusions can we make? Yeah, those total endgame scrubs. How did he find this only winning move?
I know.
So what conclusions can we draw from that line? Well, first of all, we know what black's main defensive concept is, and what is the order in which black will do it. If it was black to move here, how would black go about defending this?
Either king... I mean, just knight here.
Knight here, knight d5, knight takes c7. We can't stop that. We can't restrict both of the knight's directions, which by process of elimination gives us only one concept that we could try. What does this concept involve generally? We can't move our king. We can't stop black's knight from winning the c7 pawn, so we need to prevent it indirectly. Which means
Those are
doing
some tough
what?
questions that Danya is asking today. I keep thinking I get it. And okay, indirectly stop black. Indirectly, so not directly. So that would be got it. Just give me 1 second.
And I'm not even looking for one specific move. First, I want the general. Like, it involves doing X and then doing Y. And you can do X in like 3 or 4 different ways.
I mean, there's only one piece you can move. It's the bishop.
Exactly. You move the bishop somewhere, whatever. Just
we
choose
make
a random
room
square.
for the pawn.
Exactly. And after black plays knight, let's say knight b6 to prevent also king c4,
Oh.
white has to try what?
Pushing.
Pushing the pawn. You have to engineer a situation where the knight is unable to take the pawn because the king is no longer in the box. But here's the problem. What is black going to play?
Well, isn't this...
Wait.
So it's tricky. If we play here and then we do this whole shebang again, right? Then you push, we're in the box. So then the only other idea is we are in the box.
No. We are in the box. So black is trying to draw, so that's the correct move.
Oh, yeah. Right. So
Yeah, you are in the box.
Yeah.
It's black. Now the bishop hangs. Make a mental note of that. That's very important. The bishop hangs. It has to waste the tempo. And now
we trade, and we are in the box.
Damn it.
Box.
Yeah. By 1 tempo now, right? Not by 2 tempi, by 1 tempo.
Yeah.
So why is black in the box? Well, it's because black gained a tempo on the bishop move. So now we modify the idea.
Oh, right. So that they don't attack us.
There is no tempo move by the knight.
So...
And logically, there's only one square that the bishop could move to make that happen.
Here.
Excellent. Bishop h2, because we tried bishop f4, right?
Yep.
But if you play bishop e5, play bishop e5, how is black going to draw this?
Well, I don't think king here actually does anything, because it would just...
So here there's... Yeah, then we move back. Here there's a really cool knight maneuver. So you do play knight e7.
Yep.
White plays g4. If black plays knight d5, then white wins with what move?
Push. Take,
exactly.
push.
But black can make a different tempo move and get the knight around to e6. If black gets the knight to e6, then you stop g5 and threaten knight takes c7 simultaneously. How does black do that?
Oh, you attack the bishop, and then you have check, and then you come here.
And exactly. Knight c6, bishop moves, check, here, here. And on the next move, you take the pawn and you are still in the box. So the only winning move is bishop to h2.
That's a lot. Wow.
So how does this work? Let me try to defend this. You'll win this with black. I have to start the process with the knight.
Okay. We would continue our plan. Push the pawn.
Push time.
Now you attack. And then I push.
Push time. Knight takes c7, now loses.
Doesn't work. So what else?
And finally, you've broken the defense. Well, I have to go back to e7. But now we casually win this game by doing what? Now it's finally time to do what we wanted to start with.
We continue the plan. We take this pawn.
We take this pawn, so black has to shuffle. Black is totally paralyzed.
He is paralyzed, yes.
So let's say knight g6. And what's the actual final phase of the winning plan? How do we actually end this game?
How do we end him? Ah! No. Bang, bang. Well, my first idea was, we trap the knight, then the knight would come here. Maybe there's a Zugzwang. Oh, it is a Zugzwang.
We don't even need to. We have a more straightforward plan. Now remember,
just bring the king towards this.
We bring the king. Don't try to dislodge the king from c8 because obviously that's not possible physically.
Yes.
Which means we need to keep the bishop anchored to the pawn and just use our king to dislodge the knight. The knight is extremely restricted in how it's able to defend. So just get your king there.
Okay, so we just bring the king over here.
Yeah, whoop-de-doo, knight e7.
And just avoid the checks.
Avoid all forks, but there aren't even any forks. Yeah.
Yep.
But, king b7, king d7. So black is almost already in Zugzwang.
Here.
Okay, let's say here.
Here.
Yeah, here.
And now we don't do something silly.
Why?
Wait, this wins.
D6 is good.
Yeah, never mind. For some reason I thought, okay. Yeah, we push and we win.
The only condition under which it's drawn is, is when the corner pawn of the wrong color.
Gotcha.
Every other such endgame is winning.
Gotcha.
Because you just shoulder Black's king away, right?
Yes, principles. Yes, I knew that one.
And that is the winning process. Let me summarize. Very good. You spotted bishop h2 very quickly. So the point is, first of all, you reject the obvious move. That helps you understand what Black's defensive strategy is, which is essentially just to take c7 with the knight. Then you say, well, I have to make sure that the king is not going to be in the box after that happens. That means you have no time to waste, and you have to move the bishop and then move the pawn forward. But you have to move the bishop in such a way that the knight is not able to gain a tempo en route to winning the c7 pawn. And logically, bishop h2 keeps the bishop furthest away from the knight, so it's the only winning move. Everything else is a draw.
And they say chess is hard. It's easy like that, chat. Yeah, simple. Very simple.
What could be more straightforward than this endgame,
yeah,
really? I mean,
no, it's very intuitional and very natural.
Who would ever miss the move?
Yeah.
Who would ever miss the move?
I'm sure if I was a 2200, I would see this.
I had we can pause here for today. There was one more position I had prepared in case you're up for it, or we can save it for next time. How do you feel?
Whatever you're feeling, Danya. I could do one more.
If you're good with it, we can do one more.
I would just need a bathroom break, please, teacher.
Not a problem. Go ahead.
Great. One more. We're pushing, chat. We're pushing to the finish line.
Nice. All right, take your time. Yeah, I actually have several positions that we can do, but let me see which of those I want to do. Just a moment. God, I have so many cool endgame positions, but I want it to be on theme. Yeah, we'll do something. We'll do something cool. We'll do something cool. Do this one. Okay, there's some mind-blowing positions I have, but do this one. Yeah, okay. I'm experiencing some indecision. All right, let's do this one. It's a simpler position. I think it'll be a good way to end. Yeah, hope everyone's enjoying the lesson. Obviously, these endgame lessons are very complex. I mean, Andrea's strong, and some of you who are newer to chess, you are going to be a little bit confused and lost and stuff, but one of us will put this up on YouTube, and you can kind of re-listen to it and take it more slowly, and I think that'll help you figure stuff out. All right.
Danya, you know what I find fascinating about you? You never drink any water. Is it because you're a robot?
No, I have like 2 beverages on my desk.
Soda? Those are not good for you.
No soda. No, this is sparkling water. I almost never drink. I love soda. Like, I love root beer and stuff, but I almost never do it. And iced tea is like probably my biggest beverage of choice.
Those are the top grandmaster drinks.
And usually coffee, but I haven't had
too many
coffee
coffees.
in a couple days actually.
Couple days? What? Are you punishing yourself?
I'm on a reset.
Ah, I see.
I'm on a reset.
You've been through some dark times.
Yeah, literally. No pun intended. Coffee.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, so there are some crazy mind-blowing positions that we'll save for next time. This one I think is manageable. It is, well, obviously it is black to move. And your goal is very obvious. You have to decide between 2 possible moves.
Okay.
What are they?
Either king e5 or king e7.
King e5 or king e7. Which way should black go? I'll let you think about it. One move loses. One move gives black a draw.
Okay. One move loses. Okay. Crazy idea, but the only forcing move that I consider here is d4, because the pawn would have to take, and then I would take the rook, then the king would take, and then king would come to e3, attacking this pawn, and then this king, oh wait, yes, it can defend the pawn, then the king would just come there, defending the pawn. But I feel like there's some crazy zugzwang here, because we would push this pawn. Let's say I would have to do some counting here, but like you push, You push. Oh, I think we need to push it once. We would put them in Zugzwang and win this pawn. Oh God. Okay. Yeah. And then I don't know. It leads somewhere. It leads somewhere, and then we would take the pawn. I can see it ends like with the pawns here. These guys are blocked. We take this guy, and the king's here. So it really depends if we have the tempo or not.
So 2 things. First of all, you're absolutely correct that d4 check is the move which has to be considered. But the point of this move isn't really to put black in Zugzwang.
Gotcha.
What you should understand about this resulting pawn endgame, it's winning, but it doesn't matter even if white can cause Zugzwang. What you should notice here is which side has the outside pass pawn.
I see.
White is the outside passer, but there's a second thing. When you're trying to create a pass pawn, you have to be extremely careful about allowing your pawns to be deep frozen. So which pawn would you start with? How do you actually create the passer on the queen side?
With the B pawn.
Why not a4?
A4, you push a5.
Yeah, so this is what you have to avoid. The rule is usually to push the prospective passer. So you identify which pawn is ultimately going to be the passer. Well, it's obviously the B pawn because both sides have an A pawn. So you push the pass pawn first. That guarantees that you won't be caught in a deep freeze.
Got it.
Go ahead.
Wait, what? What do you mean? Go ahead.
So which move would white play here?
Oh.
You can make the moves.
Oh, sorry. So in this position, you mean this one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's say black pushes. And the crucial bit is that it doesn't even matter how many waiting moves black has. It's not about Zugzwang. It's about the fact that you are going to create that passer and force black's king to abandon all of the kingside pawns. Continue.
I don't think it matters here if you push a4 or b5. Nope. So either work.
b5 is, I would say, even more clinical. Yeah.
Now I bring this guy in.
And obviously this pawn race, f4 takes, a5 is just easily winning for white. Black is not even close.
Yep.
So that's it. I mean, let's say I go king e6.
Take.
King d6.
Push.
That's it. The game is over. King e6. Actually, here you don't even need to deflect black's king. You can just straight up promote.
Yeah.
b6, ab.
No.
Even simpler, yeah.
No, a6. Outside pass pawns.
Outside, but AB also wins, right? This is important to understand because here very simple winning plan.
Deflection.
So in pawn endgames, the outside pass pawn is probably the single most important thing to identify, or the potential to create one.
Okay.
Because ironically, black is the side that has 2 pass pawns. White has 0 pass pawns, but it's still winning, and you should determine that intuitively because you should sense that white will inevitably create the pass pawn on the side of the board.
Okay.
And that is exactly how black lost the game. We're talking about a 2057 FIDE, so not,
it's a juicy FIDE rating.
Amateur off the street. So actual strong players make these mistakes. Now, why did he reject king e7 intuitively? Well, what's the reason that king e7 doesn't seem appealing?
Well, for sure, blundering the pawn.
With check.
Yep.
With check. If it wasn't check, you'd be able to go rook f2 and rook takes h2.
Yep.
But just because you're a pawn down doesn't mean the game is over. In fact, this is an easy draw because black is threatening to infiltrate, right?
Yep.
And if white tries to stop, here there is a very important defensive motif.
Okay.
Where you just check him infinitely, and white's king cannot cover all of the infiltration squares.
Oh, you just keep going back and forth.
You going back and forth. And if white's king... Go ahead. And if white's king runs to g4...
Then we come behind the pawn.
Yeah, your rook gets active, you take b2.
Take this again.
And even though you're a pawn down, it's a draw because black is super active and can create a second pass. So this is pretty easy draw to make. White can't even move his king because the h2 pawn is going to be lost.
Yep, and if the king tried to go to like g1, then I'm guessing then the square that we want to control is the e2 square, like this.
Bingo. Exactly.
So
you always go
always
back.
going here. Yeah, got it.
And last thing I'll point out here is, let's say white goes rook a5. You can also play rook e2, but one technique you should be aware of is to basically go behind the pawn in order to be able to capture it with check.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, this is better than rook e2.
Yeah, which also should draw. So rook e2 draws with I think a similar motif. What should black do here? As my coach would say, always give a check in the endgame. It's like almost always going to be a good thing to do.
You would just do the same thing, just like this.
But not here.
Oh, no,
not here.
No,
There's a better move.
No. We have this. Oh, check first and then take this guy.
And then take the pawn. And if white goes the other way?
This way, then you take this guy.
Yeah, you take b2 and you're threatening checkmate.
You gained so this is better than taking right away just because we gain 1 tempo, and that 1 tempo makes the difference. Well, I guess you're winning this
because
pawn.
you're threatening mate, so white has to respond to that either by bringing the rook down, and now I would say, like, white is the one defending, or if king g2, what's hilarious is you do the same thing again, and white could lose this way.
Yep.
Because, like, now you take a2, and again you're threatening mate.
Got it. And if you didn't check, is it still a draw?
If you don't give the check where?
Like if we just take right away. So here, instead of checking, I guess you're losing this pawn, so that's why.
It's probably still a draw. Yeah, the end.
It's more complicated.
Zeros. But no, even you could take this pawn immediately, because the reality is, even if you play, I think, rook to d2, usually, and you probably know this, 2-on-1s with rooks are usually draws, unless the pawn is super far advanced or something.
Yes.
Unless the pawn is super far advanced, it's generally speaking a draw.
Yeah, I'm not very good at these endgames.
Neither. I mean, I don't think anybody is. This is like always hard to defend. So you should try to avoid this scenario when possible. But just so you know, like, even if you do quote unquote all the wrong things, it's still a draw.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised of my blitz games, but that'll be for next stream.
I've lost a lot of these types of endgames, so
yeah, I struggle with these ones.
Don't worry. Yeah, so obviously, like, I have tons of positions, and we could, go between tactics and conceptual positions. But I think ultimately the biggest misconception with endgame improvement, not that I know, is probably endgame is my weakest point, is that there are all of these concepts that are applicable in rook endgames. Keep your rook behind the pawn.
Yep.
And most of them you already know. So at this point in your chess development, I think a lot of it is literally just treating endgames the same way that you treat tactics, and just solving a crap ton of different positions, because pattern recognition in the endgame is much more important of a concept than I think people realize. People think it's all concepts, but really a lot of endgame mastery is just recognizing patterns, just like you do when, let's say, you solve chess.com puzzles.
Got it. So approaching them like puzzles.
Approaching them like puzzles and appreciating the role of tactics and calculation in the endgame, which is what we've kind of focused on the first few times.
Very nice.
So it's tough. It's a grind. That's why
I'm going to steal that and use that for my YouTube intro. Very well said.
Absolutely. Please do. Please do.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, I will release you from the torture, Andrea, but this is super, super fun. I hope the positions weren't too crazy.
No, these are always great. I do like these. They were, the last two were quite crazy, but they all make sense. And you pitch them in a fun way, which I didn't think you could do. So this was good.
I appreciate that. And, as long as you understand the logic behind the solution and can derive like any sort of general lesson, whether it's a pattern that you now know or a certain type of idea, like here, for example, right? The concept of sacking a pawn to change the pawn
to make the outside pawn
is really important, to create the outside pawn.
Yes.
So these small lessons, they add up when you solve 1,000 positions. You'll start recognizing these patterns in your games. And definitely I've got a lot more fun positions, so I'd always be down for part 3.
Yay, for sure.
But I think good spot to call it a day for now.
Thank you so much, Danya. Are you going to continue streaming?
I'll stream for a bit, yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Well, we'll see if we finish before you. We're going to do a little bit of blitz.
I'll probably take a break, so I'll probably end the stream and radio, but I'll definitely be back tonight.
You're very funny. You always do 2 streams in one day. You should just put on like an eternal starting soon sign like we do.
Yep.
Could teach you a thing or two about that. Yeah, they won't know. No one will know. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Andrea. It's the pleasure. You're awesome. Your community is awesome. So I'm always happy to do this, and
too wholesome.
Looking forward to part 3.
Sounds good. We will continue the lesson.
I'll put in my vote soon.
Okay, please do. Awesome. It's very important. We need your vote. We need it. Every vote counts, Danya.
You got it. I'll send you the raid pretty soon.
Okay. Thank you, Danya. Have a good one.
Thanks, Andrea. You too. Great session. Bye.
Chat, come on down. Command Danya. He's literally too wholesome. Feel bad. He's such a wholesome person. You guys need to go up in his chat, say something nice while he's still streaming. He's not only does he cram time to chess lesson, and then he raids us. Just too nice. Just too nice. People like this shouldn't exist. It's a cool world that we live in. It's been a long time since I played Bullet.
Let me show you this shit.
Oof. I didn't trap this guy. I'm gonna trap him.